many years ago, I brought a Sheikh out. He was a blind dairy called Abu Hafsa. I don't know if you remember him. I came many years ago, subhanAllah. He gave a talk. And many things have changed in the da'wah, in the community, from 10 years till now. We noticed that our youth specifically, and this is who I'm trying to target today, the youth, are having a few little problems here and there. So I just wait for them to work out this coverage.
Yes, that's my sister. Okay. We'll do what the capacity yes.
So go back to the point, things have changed. From the days of 10 years, even 5 years, things have changed so much. We're noticing that our youth are getting very confused, and I am not picking from the get-go. I'm not picking on anyone. I'm not trying to say they are foolish people. All I'm trying to do is guide them back to the path. Because sometimes my young brothers, I grew up in an area called Marura in Sydney, not amongst the Muslims. I didn't know anything about Islam. I didn't know one word. I didn't know even to read a harf, a letter, until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided me. The good thing about living where you are at the moment now I know there's some problems within the community, but the good thing is that you have a masjid, and many of you live across the road with these units up. You're able to come to a masjid and pray to whom? To whom, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have a chance to stay guided. And this is the thing that many of the youth, and even some of our elders, unfortunately, they move away from the deen due to what? Due to them having some issues in life. A divorce, fights with their spouses, issues with their children. They start to blame the Creator instead of looking at their own selves. Remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't put us on this world just to have an easy life. If you want to weigh yourself up to anyone, if you want to see, if you want to get a mizan, a weight, weigh yourself against the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Have a look at his life and the struggles that he went through. You think you're going through a hard time? By Allah, I don't think not one of us would be able to go through what he went. From his own family fighting him, from his tribe fighting him, from the whole society that he was living with, rejected him and kicked him out of Mecca. Imagine I came to you, or any one of you, and I said, listen, you're going to get out of your house. What would you do? You'd fight me. You'd say, what do you mean? Why are you going to kick me out of my house for? This is my home. I live here. But the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had to leave Mecca. He had to. And he established himself in Medina, subhanAllah. So what we need to understand, life is not going to be easy. It's going to be full of trials. Full of them. Doesn't matter if you're young, like the brother over here. It doesn't matter whether you're old like myself. You're going to continue to go through trials. But you need to understand, with every trial, with every single trial, there can be reward. And I'm using the word can, because depending on what you do with your life. For instance, you go through a hard time. If you rebel against Allah and His Messenger, what happens? Is there a reward or a sin? Which one? A sin. But if you're patient and steadfast and turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is a reward. And this is the thing where our young brothers and sisters are not understanding. I'm going to go back to the point of husband and wife here. Many of us, when we fight, we go to an extreme, especially this youth. They go to an extreme. A man came up to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and he said, Ya Rasulullah, give me some advice. He said, La tafdal. Simple words, nothing. There was not many words in this sentence. Ya Rasulullah again, Awsini, give me some advice. La tafdal. Do not become angry. A third time, Ya Rasulullah, Awsini, give me some advice. I heard what you said once, twice, and he said, La tafdal. And how many brothers and sisters and couples in this day and age are having so many problems over the supposed silly elements in their marriage. Huh? Wallah, he doesn't buy me a purse. Huh? Wallah, she didn't cook me food that I liked. Huh? He didn't do this, she didn't do that, and we're not picking on one or the other. Yahweh, you know, men are supposed to be men, not boys. When you enter into a marriage, you're supposed to know how to lead your household. Now, do we say come in with oomph? Do we come in with strength? Going in just to fight? No, she has to listen to me. Whether she likes it or not, she has to listen to me. But I take you back to the best of creation, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when Aisha, she became jealous. Huh? She grabbed the plate because one of her co-wives sent some food. The Sahaba were there. She grabbed the plate and she smashed it. Allah, I feel what we will do. Any one of us. If our wife in front of our friends got a plate and in front of us, in front of them, smashed the plate in front of them, what would we do? What would we say? Maybe not straight away, but when they leave, huh? But the best of creation, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he looked at them and said, your mother became jealous. Your mother became what? Jealous. She couldn't hold her emotion. Meaning, females have these emotions, maybe that men don't have, but we don't understand. But when we get angry, it's a different thing for the men, huh? Our hands become like this. We don't know how to hold. She didn't know how. She had the plate, she smashed it. But when we get angry, the men, first thing we want to do, we want to lash out, we want to hit, we want to grab, we want to pull hair. But is that the right thing to do, my brother and my sister in Islam? No, Allah. No, Allah. This is not the way to do things. And in my older age now, I understand, because when I was young, I got married early, wallahi. At the age of 18, I was engaged. By 19, I was married. I opened up a house, and wallahi, I was the immature, not her. I was. Huh? I didn't know how to run my household. I thought being strong, being a man, is with my mouth, with my power. This is what I thought. I get angry, I put a hole in the wall. Well, but would I do that now? Wallahi, never, ever in my life I would do that. My wife gave me 5 children, which they brought now at the moment 4 grandchildren. How would you disrespect that woman who loves you and cares for you and does so much for the household when we're out working and they're home looking after these children and bringing them up? And again, understanding who is the first teacher to your child, please. Anyone? Who is the first teacher to your child? Your wife, their mother. Who nurtures them? Who brings them up? Who teaches them the alphabet? Who teaches them at these early stages? Oh, my dear sisters, you're not off the hook. Many of them inside maybe saying, yes, go Sheikh. Give it to them. But now we have an extreme where the women are starting to change as well. Wallahi, I've heard of a brother, his wife broke his arm in a fight. Many people say, what do you mean? She broke his arm in a fight. In meaning now the women, we have to say to them, do not become angry. Because now we start to fear for our lives. We have to calm ourselves down. We need to understand the meaning when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran, what's the reason why He created us? Anybody, everyone should know this verse. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Simple. Allah created you for one reason, to worship Him. That's the only reason He put us on earth. No other reason. If you think we're here just to get married, to have children, to enjoy water, drinks, and to enjoy food, and to sit around and hang out, and just waste our time in this dunya, you are mistaken, my dear brother, my dear sister in Islam. Wallahi al-Azim, you have mistaken. I'm going to call you again a certain word, but we've lost our minds. Because you know what? Again, when you enter your grave, you're going to understand. The other day I was at a janazah in Sydney. The hardest part for me, regardless family or non-family, I always sit back and I stand on the side. I don't normally go look on top of the grave. I stand back. And I wait. In Sydney they have like a little pickup truck that pours the dirt at the end. Everyone moves away and I just sit there. Wallahi al-Azim, my father passed over 20 years ago and I still remember to this day. When the truck came and poured this sand, this dirt back into the grave, that is it. There's no more returning back. Don't even dream about it. Don't even think about it. Once you're in the grave, uqsimu billah, you have no other way out. Now we say to our youth, where's your prayer? Where's your ta'at to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Where is it? In essence, this masjid should be full of youth, correct or not? But where are they? We're not going to blame them because their minds at the moment now are clouded. And I'm telling you all, but we need effort. And the youth that are here, you need to step up. We know Abu Bakr, he didn't sit down and say, oh, I believe in Allah, that's it, Ya Rabbi nafsi. He went out and called the people that he knew to Islam and they came. We need effort. Young brothers, we need to push. Young sisters, we need to push. We need to call to Allah and His Messenger. Period. And that's it. We don't call to tribalism. We don't call just to come and hang out. We're calling to Allah and His Messenger. We want to save our youth. Be a bit lenient. If they muck around a bit, it doesn't matter. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, I noticed in the back you have your snooker and table tennis. Amazing. But we have to remember, once we get put into that grave, what happens next? Huh? Do you think when the angel of death comes, your friend's going to sit next to you, your colleague, your friend, your partner, your spouse? Anyone's going to sit next to you and say, hey, answer like this and answer like that? No. You're on your own. Call out to your friend Mohamed, call out to your friend Ahmed, call out to your friend Yusuf, call out to whoever you want. Do you think they're going to hear you? Do you think they're going to even know that you're calling out? You're underneath the ground. You're underneath the ground. And from there, depending on how you answer and how you live your life and how you believe and your tawheed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it depends from there. Either a window of the hellfire is opened up or a window of Jannah is opened up. Every place I've given a talk so far of us, and I've given one example. You know when you go to the graveyard, have you ever seen a grave with a name on it with 1 day old? Anyone? Meaning the mother gave birth to a baby and it survived 1 day. And they wrote on the grave, 1 day old. 7 days old. 6 months old. 5 and 10 and 15. Don't think because you haven't got a great beard yet. Yeah, some of others can't grow you a bit. That would be a But when you look at the ages of the graves, there is no guarantee that you're going to live till tomorrow. You're a sinner, you come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're doing haram, you come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're not praying, and this is the one thing that we want to touch on. We need to make sure that we're praying our 5 daily prayers. There's nothing more important to you after believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger but your 5 daily prayers. I don't care what you're doing, what sin you're committing, you make sure that you pray your 5 daily prayers. Uqsimu billah, this is the thing that's going to save you. Yawm al-Qiyamah, what's the first thing Allah judges you on? Salah, your prayer. If it's good, everything else you did is going to come forth. If you did not pray, that's it. That's it. You got no hope. Because this is one amr that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us. You have to pray. Now we'll talk about 5 prayers. Imagine when the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam went up to the heavens. And Allah ordered him with 50 prayers. What would we have done then? Seriously, think about it. Imagine all these prayers. Will we pray day and night? And we complain about 5 prayers. But again, the beauty of this, when you do a good deed, it's multiplied by how much? By 10. So those 5 prayers become how many? 50. See the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a Sheikh from Saudi, he was mentioning a story that happened with him. He was an individual, or still is an individual, that washes the dead. He said he was in one of the masajid in Saudi Arabia, and 2 men came. They were dead. They had passed away from a car accident. They brought him, they split up into groups. One took, one of the men were called Mohamed, the second one was Usama. The Sheikh washed Usama. So he started to narrate what happened and what he saw while he was washing. He said that the accident was so severe, that the skull of Usama, was broken and literally his skin came up and above. It was still stuck from the back, but his brain and everything had come out. He was full of blood, dirt, glass in him. They started to cut off his clothes. He noticed all the bruising, all the cuts. So he started to do the final washing. And remember, this is going to happen to all of us. That final washing. No more doing wudu or ghusl yourself. You need someone to wash you. Your last day on top of the earth. He said he was in such a bad state. But as he was washing him, he noticed a smile on his face. And he asked the shabab, he asked the boys, he said, do you see him smiling? Is that a smile that I see? Because sometimes, subhanAllah, if you've been good and obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that death doesn't mean it's going to be a bad thing. He said, do you see a smile or not? They said, Wallahi ya Sheikh, it seems like we're not sure. Allahu A'lam. They finished, they washed him, they shrouded him, and he went out to the family, and the father was crying. Like any father would, like any mother would, like any brother would. Like anyone who was dear to you, you will be crying, because you're never ever going to see him on this dunya again. He said, Ya Sheikh, have you finished? How did everything go? He said, Bashiir, I give you glad tidings, he's in a good state. Alhamdulillah. He didn't want to make his sorrow worse. Then Usama's brother came. And he said, Wallahi, Usama and his brother look very, very much alike. So he started to speak to him and he said, listen, tell me about Usama. Tell me about your brother. How did he live? Because again, he wanted to know why he was smiling. He had the thought, that's it was a smile. So he said, listen, my brother, alhamdulillah, that he died now and not 3 months ago. 3 months ago. Alhamdulillah, and he kept praising Allah and praising Allah that he didn't die 3 months ago. He said, Ya Sheikh, 3 months ago, my brother Usama never ever makes sujood to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was disobedient to his parents. He knew nothing from the Quran. He did nothing. He was just living a life of emptiness in this dunya, like an animal. Because what they're trying to do to society at the moment now, you have to be a sheep. You have to be like a cattle, just moving around. When you go to the airports, they put all these ropes. Everyone has to follow, go this way, go that way. Society. No more freedom of thinking. No more. You have to follow a system. He said, Alhamdulillah, Ya Sheikh, that he died now and not 3 months ago. Because if he died 3 months ago, Allahu A'lam, what would have been happening? I would not have been happy for him because I would have been crying in sorrow. But 3 months ago, Ya Sheikh, 3 months ago, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened up his heart. And mind you, he was in his early 20s. Again, we're not talking about an old person. Ya Sheikh, he started to pray. He started to make ruku'. He started to make sujood. He started to get up and pray qiyam al-layl. He started to fast Mondays and Thursdays. He started being obedient to his parents. He used to kiss them on the head. He regretted what he did in the past. Alhamdulillah that he died now. When his brother smiled, the Sheikh mentioned, I know for a fact now, that Usama's smile on his face was a smile. Now I'm going to ask you, brother and sister, individually. Maybe some of you have walked in today, not always praying, not always being obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not being obedient to your parents, and I'm going to say this again, not being obedient to your parents. This is an order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you youth, my young brothers and my young sisters, you're not going to understand until you have children of your own. You're not going to understand how your mother feels when you go out and don't call her. And she doesn't know that you're safe. You're not going to understand your father's worry about you if you're doing something haram, or you're hurting someone, or you're hurting yourself. How many people do we know that are on drugs? Taking drugs. Well, I know. I sit with the youth. I get the phone calls. How many of them are moving away and drinking alcohol, wasting their time? We will stay up till Fajr and not pray. You know, there's not many youth here, but if I did a phrase and I got permission from the actual brother, if I said, wallahi, every state that I went to, understood what I was saying. There's a brother in Sydney, alhamdulillah, he's pulled up, he's a very good brother at the moment now. He sells asai. Every state that I've been to, I was with Abu Taymiyyah in the different states. And Brother Adam knows, he was with us on tour, Brother Ahmed was here as well. Every state that I made that phrase, that little sound, the youth would crack up. The youth, they would laugh. How does this old man know about this? Yeah. And he's become famous. Wallahi, I went to visit the brother. There's people from Victoria, driving from Victoria all the way to Sydney, just to see because of this. But you know when you hear Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, where are the people? Where is our youth smiling, saying, I'm coming to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm coming to Allah, Ya Allah, I'm coming. I'm going to answer you, Ya Allah. How many Muslims live in this area? Somebody? How many thousands? A lot. So in essence, in Ramadan, the first 5 days of Ramadan, how full is this place? Full. So when we're crying out and we're calling the adhan, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, everyone's sitting down. We will stay up till Fajr and sleep. But when the adhan of Fajr is sounded, we don't move. We don't move. And again, this is where we collectively, don't blame your Sheikh. Don't blame your Sheikh. Because collectively, we have to work. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down the wahy to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, how many Muslims were there? The day the revelation came down, how many Muslims? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His wife then became Muslim. Who was next? Ali. Ali radiallahu anhu, the children of the men? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. How many people are here today? Again, intention. Intention means everything. My sisters that are listening, I'm talking to you as well. Intention is so important. Whatever you do, you do for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I didn't come here just to say, come follow me on TikTok, guys. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. I couldn't care less about that. My message today is to come to Allah and call to Allah. This is what we need to do. Because if we're not careful, this next generation, what is going to happen to them? When we pass on in a few years, my elders, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all. When we pass on, what's going to happen? You know, when you ask the youth, the young girls, you ask them about, these shubahat they have about boy and girl, You ask them, what do you think about that? Many of them say, it's up to them. Already the mindset has changed. The mindset has changed. Go back 10 years. You ask the child, what would they say? A'udhu billah. How can this happen? And it's scary. I can say more, but I'm not going to say. I can say much more, but I'm not going to talk. But many of you understand where I'm coming from, what's happening within our community with this certain situation. So the time to come to Allah is when? Now. Not after Isha, not wait for the adhan, or until I get home, or let me think about it. The time to call to Allah is now. Now. Because Iblis will not rest. Shaitan himself will not rest. He's fighting all of us. Division amongst our community is skyrocketing. Skyrocketing. And you know who's leading it at the moment? Wallahi, our youth. You're talking about 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds getting involved in takfir. Outright. You're a dog of hellfire. Who is going to take that on the day of judgment? You're going to stand in front of Allah. And I'm making kufr of you. I'm going to call you a dog of the hellfire. And this was my message yesterday. Would you rather people enter Jannah or Jahannam? Which one? Which one? Think about it. The Prophet ﷺ in his message, when Quraysh came and hit him and strangled him and he became unconscious, did he keep going back and trying to guide them? He tried. But we have a bit of a problem upstairs. Let him burn in hell, Yahweh. Let her burn in hell, who cares? Let them go to Jahannam eternally. This is not the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah wants the people to worship Him. Allah wants the people to go to Jannah, not Jahannam. And again, I'm begging you all, Ya Akhwa, Wallahi, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after this we need to see you people do more. We need you to become more energetic with your deen. It could be as simple, start by a smile. The youth out on the street normally will say, come here. What are you doing on the street? Turn, say, Assalamu alaikum, give a smile. Maybe that might open up their heart. You know, a boy is sitting or a girl is sitting. Huh? Instead of looking down at them, call them to Allah. Let them feel comfortable. Many years ago, subhanAllah, we had some brothers that were troubled at that time. Had funny haircuts, had all this sort of stuff. Wallahi, it was a month of Ramadan. We left them. We were nice to them. We spoke to them in a good way. Just before Ramadan finished, you think he had that haircut? On his own he came in. Wallahi, when he cut his hair, we all grabbed him and we hugged him. This is the deen of Islam. Umar radiallahu anhu, I mentioned this before in a different masjid. He was going to kill Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was going to kill him. And now we say, radiallahu anhu, and he was the second Khalifa after whom? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. So how do you know out of this youth? How do you know they're not going to be the next leaders of Islam? We need to give them a chance. We need to open up the doors. The next time we come, inshallah, I'm trying to come to Melbourne every 4 weeks or 6 weeks, inshallah, but we want to get it more full. Not fully, but for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you need to continue these talks. You need to keep calling. Call them. You say to me it's hard. Wasn't it hard calling Quraysh? We're talking about born Muslims. We're finding it hard. What about Quraysh who hated the message? Who hated the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam when he called to Islam, to Allah? Don't give up. Because with this call there's struggle. When the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was in battle, and the companions were complaining about being hungry. One lifted up his shirt and said, Ya Rasulullah. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he lifted up his shirt, he had 2 rocks. Not 1 rock, he had 2 rocks. He was there, he suffered. But miracles come when you're patient. Miracles come when you're on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the battle of the trench, when this took place, one of the Sahaba said, I can't see the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in such a state. I can't see this. He sought permission from the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to go home. He went home. He asked his wife, what do we have to eat? She said, I have this small animal. Small animal. Enough for 1 or 2 people. And I had some dried barley. He said, listen, grind up the barley. He slaughtered the animal. He put it into the cooking pot and he went back to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now you have an army. An army of companions. Blessed individuals. He went up to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and said, Ya Rasulullah, if you don't mind, come back with me to my house. I've organized a meal. He said, for how many? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. For how many? He said 1 or 2. And his wife, his companion's wife told him, Devine, be careful. Don't embarrass me. You know, when you're inviting friends over, don't get too many. They want to make sure they prepare themselves. When you get very upset with this, they get embarrassed. Not enough food and all this. So the Prophet ﷺ jumps up and he called out to all of the people that were in the war, all the Muslimin. He said, your brother has invited you for a feast. Could you imagine his heart? Imagine, your wife cooked for maybe myself and brother Ahmed and another brother. And then I called out, Ya Ahmed, you're all invited to the brother's house. You'd be on your mobile phone. Please, honey, don't blame me, the Sheikh did it. In Lebanese we say, his heart dropped. So they went and he rushed, his companion rushed. He went back to his wife, and when she told him, or when he told her, she said, did he, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, order you to do this? And this is how the Sahaba were. He said, yes. She she did not open her mouth. She did not open her mouth. She did not complain because she understood being obedient to Allah and also whom? Being obedient to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is crucial for us. But the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told him, before you get home, be careful. Don't do anything to the food. When I get there, I'll organize it. I get another lady to help to make the bread and leave the pot cooking. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam got there. The companions were coming. He had a small house there. It was not like our houses these days. They had little rooms. So the Prophet ﷺ, he lifted the pot, the lid of the pot. He spat in that barakah, spat in it. He said, Bismillah. The Prophet himself, ﷺ, and anyone that has a position, whether you're a Sheikh, Imam, whether you have a business, whether you're a king, whether you're a leader, listen up. The Messenger himself, ﷺ, was serving the Sahaba. And imagine these days when you go to some people, they have so much pride. And say to them, serve the people, they'll look at you, and more than likely they'll spit at you and say, get out of my face. The Messenger, the best of creation, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, started to serve, and he told the companions 10 by 10. 10 companions would come in, they would eat to their full and walk out. The next 10 would come in, they would eat to their full, they would leave. The next 10 would come in, until the whole army became full and there was food left over. With this struggle, there is what? There are miracles. Then the Prophet ﷺ himself ate and there was food left over, and he told the household, you eat and then serve the people that are also going through a hard time. Now, you might think this is a story. Our problem is that we don't understand. Many might think, it's just a seerah. I'm going to tell you a time where I was in and Brother Ahmed was in. Shahid, well, we're working to purchase the land that we have in Norman to build the masjid. We had a fundraising dinner. And the Lebanese boys, mashallah, tabarakallah, they can eat. I'm not sure about the Somali men, but the brothers, when they got some white, put a kharoof in front of them, tabarakallah, they can eat. Easily. It was the end of the night, and what we do, whenever we have a fundraising dinner, we don't eat. The volunteers will wait to the end. We make sure there's food, but tabarakallah, that night, there were so many people. There was barely any food. There was at least 25 to 30 brothers, approximately, around that. The staff of the hall said, well, we apologize, there's only a couple of plates of potato and some things. Just a little few plates. We all looked at it, we thought, we'll eat what's there and then we'll go somewhere else and eat. Yeah? Those few plates, and I'm swearing by Allah, and our witnesses here, I'm swearing by Allah, every one of us ate to our full, and there was food left over. You know, your trust in Allah is crucial. My brother, my sister, your trust in Allah is crucial. Your belief in Allah is crucial. Don't think, where am I going to get my next salah? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is Ar-Razzaq, the one who's going to give you your next salah. He is the one that's going to give you everything, as long as what? That you believe in Him. Does He give the non-Muslim? The one that swears on Allah, does He give him yes or no? Which means, as we know in the hadith that mentions, that if Allah cared about this dunya, He would not give the kafir even a sip of water. And we're talking that narration where it mentions, it says about the wing of the mosquito or the fly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not even care about this dunya like the wing of a fly. What do you do when a fly comes? You hit it. You get the mortine, you spray it. You get the fly swatter, you smash it. You couldn't care less about it. This dunya, this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala thinks about this dunya. It means nothing. Because when you enter Jannah, inshallah ya Rabbi, we all enter Jannah together. Inshallah ya Rabbi. I am asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a sincere heart that we all enter Jannah, Ya Rabb. Amen. When you enter, you forget every single bit of pain. Every hardship that you go through, you forget. Every single bit of hardship you go through, you forget. And we want to move away from Allah. And we want to complain about Allah, not complain to Allah about what we're doing. We complain about Allah. We have to try our best. Don't give up. Don't think, that's it, the youth are finished. Don't think, your family members that are off track, they're finished. Love them and show them love. Show them the beauty that the Messenger ﷺ showed his companions. When the Messenger ﷺ was sitting amongst his Sahaba, when people came from outside a bedroom and they said, Aina Mohamed, they would not know where the Prophet ﷺ was. He was amongst them, dressed like them, sitting on the floor with them, not raised. Show them some hadiyyah, show them some love, show them mercy, bring them back. And Wallah al-Azim, you're going to see how much reward you're going to get, and you're going to see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to change your life. He will. But just make sure one thing, yeah? This is more to the people that are having issues. Don't always look at the people that are up there in this car, because sometimes our eyes makes our minds dance. Look, this guy buys shoes every week. Every day he's got a different pair of Jordans. How can you afford it? Look at this guy with the BM. Look at that guy every day. He's opening up a new business and he's making the money. Don't look at your success in this world by money, by wealth. Look at your success by how you prostrate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To how your iman is high. And remember, your iman will rise with what? With ta'ah. With being obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when your iman is low and it drops, it's from what? It's from sins. It is from sins. So look at your life. If you feel that your iman is low, you're doing something wrong. If your iman is constantly low, you have done something wrong. It could be this device that you're always on. TikTok, Facebook, blah, blah. Your mind plays games. 1 second you're hearing Quran, the next second you're listening to music, the next second you're looking at something that you shouldn't be looking at, then you see something religious and you just, 1 second, I'm confused now. My emotions, in less than a minute, it changed. It went from spiritual to bobbing your head, and then to opening up your eyes saying, look at this. You know, one Egyptian Sheikh, how long before we finish? Before that, then come on?
No, still.
Sultan? An Egyptian Sheikh gave an amazing example of the dunya. Not a hadith, just a story. He said there was a man. He was living his life and he was at a state where he was about to give up. He came across a malik, a king, a ruler, and this malik had so much riches. And he came across the person and said, listen, I'm going to give you 2.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes to enter my castle and to take as much as you want. You only have, the condition is 2.5 minutes, whatever you can take in that one sitting, whatever you take is yours. He said, no problem. So he went and got a cart. He walked. The person said, are you ready? He said, yes, I'm ready. He entered. He goes in and he starts to put things into this cart. But when he was putting things in, he looked this way. And he thought, wow, look at that. Should I be wasting my time? Remember, 2.5 minutes, Should I be wasting my time here putting things into the cart? Or should I go over there? He stopped. He went over there. He started to look over there. He started to pick up things. He looked that way. He looked that way. And he thought, oh, 1 second. This is what I need. I don't need this stuff here. I need that stuff from over there. So he went from here to there. Time is clicking. Time is clicking, And he kept doing this until his 2.5 minutes went. Finished, khalas, all over. And he barely took anything. And the man came back and said, your time's up. Your time is up. He said, why didn't, look, I didn't take nothing with me. I didn't take anything, look. He said, I gave you 2.5 minutes. You had all that time to receive whatever you wanted. But your mindset was deluded. Your mindset was deluded. Ya akhwa, our lives are like 2.5 minutes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us life, a set amount of time. How much reward are you willing to take? How much reward are you willing to accumulate to help you Yawm al-Qiyamah? This is something you need to ask yourself, and this is something I have to ask myself. For the elders that are here, you understand what I'm saying? Because your mindset changes. Some of us with the grey beards, our mindset is different. Wallahi, you fear death more as you get older. When you see a brother get buried, when you see the dirt get put over them, And you hear about this person that was younger than you, and you think, Ya Allah, how much time do I have? Huh? How much time do I have? My sisters, if I can address you, and please, nobody get upset with me. Nobody, wallahi, please. The last talk I gave in Melbourne, unfortunately, some sisters got upset with me talking about hijab. They got very upset, and I'm not going to stop. You know why? Because this is the deen of Islam. There's Qala Allah or Qala Rasul. Huh? There's no my opinion, my emotions. We have a problem with women at the moment now taking off their hijabs and publicly. It's a TikTok sensation. Girls go on saying, today I'm going to take off my hijab, and they take it off. It's hard. And wallahi, it hurts. It hurts. Those jewels that we have, those diamonds, those pearls that we have, our sisters, our mothers, our aunties, they're diamonds to us. First, brother, please, as I said at the start, use hikmah with them. When you bring up your daughters, when you're married to a wife, use hikmah. But my dear sister, don't blame everything on your hijab. Don't blame everything on your deen when you say, I'm going to rebel. I have to start putting my makeup. What are people going to say to me? Who cares what people say about you? Who cares? Peer pressure. Oh, look at those blemishes on your face. Oh, look at your eyebrows. They say thick. Why don't you go pluck them or wax them? Oh, why don't you get some injections in your lips? Straighten your skin. Do so many things. I am telling you, my dear sister, in Islam by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that no one is going to leave you alone. Most people that terrorize you with this mentality are jealous of you. Most people don't want to see you succeed. Most people have a problem themselves. Why are they putting you down? Because they have a problem with their nafs. When they look in the mirror, they're not happy. Understand this, my dear sister. You need to be strong. And just like we're telling the brothers they need to move forward with their deen and core, we need you to do the same thing. We need to be more vocal. One sister gave a bit of advice. Not that she was dressed properly, she had the hijab on, she had makeup on, whatever it was. And she said herself, this is what I got in trouble for. Huh? She said herself, I'm sick of seeing girls with their necks open. They got the hijab now and it's open, like this. You can see their necks. Now when we ask others, and this is where they say, well, I made some problems. But generally, when a man sees this is beautiful. To a man, when he sees this, he thinks, Allahu Akbar, this looks amazing. Women don't understand men, and men don't understand women, subhanAllah. Again, we're not criticizing here. But when you open up your hijab and your earrings are showing, or you lift up your hijab and your hair is showing from up here, and you're wearing tights where we can see every single part of your body, is this hijab? And the women themselves say, no, this is not hijab. My brothers, we have a problem. When we see this, if it's our daughters, Allahu Akbar, what will we do? Ya Sheikh, what will we do? But when it's someone else's daughter, our eyes automatically become like this. When it's someone else's daughter, our eyes do what? We won't blink. We say, one look, halal. One look, we allow one look. And you make sure you scan her whole body. This is a mockery of the deen. So we have two issues. We're asking our sisters, please, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you need to fear Him. Brothers, we need to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we need to advise. The more we allow things to happen and not advise, the more problems our community is going to be in. Sisters, you need to talk to girls these days. And we talked years ago, we would go on the street, sister, please, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, cover our property. Wallahi, they used to take advice. These days, if I come up to any girl and say, Ukhti, fear Allah, they'll say, stop perving. It's your problem, what are you looking for? Who are you to judge me? Who are you to judge me? Only Allah can judge me. Did we ever hear the Prophet ﷺ narrate, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His kitab, in the Quran, mention, don't judge me? The apparent is there. And the deen of Islam is a nasiha. It is an advice, a sincere advice. So we have to, as callers to Islam, we need to be sincere. But we need to call. We need to remind. We have to educate the masses. Because our shahwat at the moment now, yeah, our emotions are taking over us. How many brothers do you know, yeah, that are drinking alcohol? Many of us will say, oh, I know somebody. How many brothers do we know that are addicted, or sisters addicted to qat? I know the Somali community have this problem. Huh? I go to Jigjiga a lot. Some of you go to Jigjiga, huh? Yeah, the Ahmed of all these areas. We see the stands of this green element and the sisters with the hijab are selling. Wallah, I'm not trying to doubt anyone, don't misunderstand. But we have problems. In Sydney, we have our brothers, Lebanese brothers, selling drugs. Muslimin. Selling to who? To the Muslims. Selling to our sisters with hijab. We have a big problem. But how are we going to get out of it if we don't start moving forward? If we don't start worshipping Allah properly, calling to Allah, calling to the Prophet ﷺ, and not calling to ourselves, and I'm going to repeat, not calling to myself. I don't want anyone to follow me. I don't want anyone to follow me because I make mistakes, just like any one of you. Every son of Adam, what? Sins. Every single one of us sins. But the best of those who sin is the one that repents and comes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now, I'm asking the idara here, the administration here, I'm asking every one of you, whether you're a brother or sister, listening to my words, what are you going to do next? Pick up sticks? Huh? So we're going to beat these people. We need to come with education. We need to come with education and love. And wallahi, we're going to see a difference. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you all, inshallah. Again, if I offended anyone, please forgive me. Wallahi, my intention is not to offend anyone, but we have problems. We have problems. We have problems. So who's going to be the first one? Again, I'm not done. Don't jump up and say, I'll start. It's not, we're not calling for donations. But who's going to be the strong one out of you to be like Abu Bakr? It's hard for us to be like the Prophet ﷺ. But who's going to be like Abu Bakr? Who? Who's going to be like Ahmed? Who's going to be like Ali? This is something you need to ask yourself. And please think about it. Think about it. Have shura. Sit down. What's our problems in our community? How do we change things? If we're just going to sit here and do nothing, what can we? I'm good to myself and that's it. You know, I keep saying this. You know, on the day of judgment, what does everyone say? When the people are running to the different prophets, they say, Nafsi, Nafsi. Myself, myself. Sah? Nafsi, Nafsi. But in the dunya, it can't be like that. This is a time if you got one person, one person, if you guide them to come to the masjid and they change their life, they get off the drugs, they get off the alcohol, they become proper Muslims, every single thing they do is going to come into your good deeds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to allow their good deeds to be put down with your good deeds. Imagine you got 5 people and they continue to pray and they start to fast Ramadan, or you guided 10 people or 100 people. And when we go back and look at the Sahaba, why were the Sahaba? Why? Think about it. How many people were guided from them? Every single Muslim from that time to now, the ones that guided other individuals, they're going to get the hasanat of everyone. So why don't you be that person of today? From now until the day of judgment, as long as Islam is flourishing and moving forward, as we know things happen closer to the day of judgment, but why don't you be that person who wants those rewards, who wants to guide people? So again, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the energy, because many of us sometimes, we're getting older, whatever it may be, a bit lazy, sit at the coffee shop, drink tea, take it easy, go have the big burgers, the smash burgers, the asai bowls, tabarakallah, everyone, especially in Melbourne, tabarakallah, there's a big war happening with asai. Yeah? This one's got the nice texture, this one's talking about, the flavour, this one's trying to outdo the next. Let's outdo one another, not with asai. Let's outdo one another, yes, sincerely with the deen of Islam, calling to Allah and His Messenger. Let's outdo one another in that. Let's see how many people you can bring to the masjid. Let's see how many non-Muslims we can revert and come to Islam. Let's see how many people we can do this to. And all for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everyone ready, inshallah? Everyone. Inshallah, wallahi, I put my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, wallahi. It's good to hear motivating talks every now and then. They say, oh, mashallah, we wish. Any one of you can get up and preach. Any one of you, as long as you're sincere, can get up and preach. Don't leave it only to a few individuals. Get up and make a change. Some people are good with speech. Some people are good with technical things. They know how to make videos. How many cameras are here? Some people are good with writing. Some people know how to make money and they give it peace. You have a part in this community. You have a part in this ummah. So don't think, what am I going to do? Wallahi, you can do something. You choose that. Choose the path that you want. But make sure you're constant in it. Don't get lazy. Because Sheikh makes me feel lazy. Wallahi. Well, today, man, I gave a talk yesterday, I gave another talk. Tomorrow I've got a podcast, I've got another talk. Wallahi, he makes me feel lazy sometimes. And I say, get up. Get up. What good are you if you're just sitting down like an old man? Get up and talk. Call the people to Allah. So I need you to talk to your nafs, your soul. Get up. Do something for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى to bless you all. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم. In terms of questions, I left that to your Mashiach. Because again, I don't know too much about the community, so all the questions are going to be left with them, inshallah.